Hello, everybody. How's it going? I'm WoWcrendor, and welcome back to another episode of the Crencast. This is episode 3 of me just ranting about whatever I want. So, what's happened since the last Crencast? A lot of stuff. Cubs have won the World Series. Thank God. Finally, the first time in 108 years, the Cubs have won a World Series, which is insane to me. People have lived and died without seeing that happen. Old people, like into their 80s and 90s, have seen no World Series by the Cubs, and now we have gotten to witness it. And I think that's pretty awesome. So, congratulations to the Cubs, mainly because I'm happy about it, because I've always been a Cubs fan. Yay me. Why is it called the World Series? Why? I was wondering that. Why is it called the World Series? Now, now the Cubs will take on China and Norway and Brazil. No, it's the United States and Toronto. That's like it. They used to have Montreal. They used to have the Expos, and then they moved they're in Washington now. It's gotta be, let's see, World Series name. Come on, there's gotta be something on it. Precursors to the modern World Series, 1857. Until the formation of the American Association in 18... I don't care. It's just like history class. Oh my God, I just remember in history class, until the formation of the American Association in 1882 is... it's just... all these teachers talking monotone, which is like me, except I'm not teaching anyone. I'm trying to help people fall asleep or just relax or chill out. I don't know. Until the American Association, blah, blah. Let's see. The series was promoted and referred to as the Championship of the United States. Oh, shit. It was called just the United States Championship. World Championship Series, or World Series for short. In his book, Krakatoa, The Day the World Exploded, August 27th, 1883, Simon Winchester mentions in passing that the World Series was named for the New York World newspaper, but this view disputed. Sure. All right. Well, I don't care enough. I guess that's why it's called the World Series, but it says this, I don't know, whatever. It's called the World Series. They won it. Thank God. They took way too long to win one. Moving on. Where have I been? Disneyland. I went to BlizzCon, which was okay. Main fun we had was Disneyland. Dude, Disneyland's great, especially when you got a VIP tour guy. So we were supposed to just go there and be like, yeah, whatever, we'll pay for the tickets and do everything. And then TB and Jenna were like, hey, we got room for 2 more people. So do you guys want to go? And we were like, yeah, because then it was free because they had somebody was paying for it, I don't know who, but somebody was. And then we got a VIP tour guide, and he just goes with you the whole time around the park. You got to work 6 years at Disney and know a bunch of stuff to even get in this position at Disney. And he's got on a plaid vest, and he's got a little Mickey Mouse pin. And this guy is Disney royalty. He can go wherever he wants, and they're just oh shit, come on in, man. And he just gets us all in. Whatever ride we want to go on is amazing. Now we're spoiled when we go to Disney now, because it's now I want my VIP guide. So let's see, what did we do? We rode all the rides. If you didn't see all our tweets and stuff, I put up some non-content on the YouTube channel. Great stuff. Let's see, we didn't ride Space Mountain, but we rode Hyperspace Mountain. And it was actually really fun. I've never ridden a lot of roller coasters. I'm not a big fan, but I was like, you know what? It's Disneyland. I'll give it a try. Yeah, I had a pretty good time. The only one I didn't like is this bobsled ride. It's like a luge, and you're kind of leaned back, and it's you're just and you're bumping all over. I didn't like that one. I didn't enjoy that. And I felt kind of nauseous afterwards. And I was like, I don't think I want to do that one again. Everything else was fine. There was the Cars ride, which for Disneyland, the Cars ride encourages some odd competition. You're zipping around or whatever, and then you're building your car, and then you go to the race, and it matches you up against someone. And they're like, hey, you guys are going to race. And then you look over and you see them. And we're just like, yeah, you're going down. And they're like, ha, 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 ha. And then it's like, and you both race and zoom off. I don't actually know who wins. I don't know. I think it's just a tie. I think we won, though. But I'm obviously biased. Let's see. What else did we do? There was the Star Wars stuff. We met Chewbacca. We met Darth Vader. Very, very great people. I feel like they're super troopers. Not like the movie, but like, hey, pal, you're a trooper for just dealing with being in that costume all day. Like, I guess it's their job, but like, man, I wonder how long you get before you get a lunch break or something when you're Darth Vader or Chewbacca, and how long it takes to get that costume off. I just like to picture they just become one with the costume. They like super glue it on and everything, and they just become that character in like a weird Disney horror movie way. Be weird. It's like, Chewbacca, are you gonna take your mask off? He's like, oh. It's like, hey, dude, you can talk English now. Like, we can hear. We don't need Wookiee anymore. And he's just like, ah. It's like, oh shit, dude, he's becoming one with the costume. That'd be weird. What else did we do? We did the Indiana Jones ride, Pirates of the Caribbean. I like those the most. They're still rides, right? But they're a little more chill and relaxing, and I like that. It's almost like you're going through a little story when you're on those. There's the Nightmare Before Christmas, and then there's like the kind of like, they're not like super rides, but they're still rides, like Little Mermaid, the Who Framed Roger Rabbit, those types of things. Pinocchio is another one. Apparently everybody was like, dude, did you go on the Winnie the Pooh ride? And I was like, no. And that one's like crazy as shit. I looked it up on Google and I was like, oh my God, how'd we not ride that ride? So I was disappointed. Next time we go, definitely gonna have to ride that ride. Let's see, what else? What else did we do at Disneyland? There's Star Tours. We always do Star Tours, which is pretty fun. I'm just scrolling through my pictures here. There's Ariel's Grotto, which we thought was really weird. Jesse put up the pictures on Twitter. It's just like Ariel's Grotto, and she's just like chilling on a clam. And then the Poseidon dude, I forget his name. He's like looking down at her like, yeah, Ariel's Grotto. And it just looks really creepy. So I was like, yeah, put up the pictures online and then be like, it speaks for itself. Jesse thought that was really funny. I did too. Clearly. And then, oh my God, I loved this one ride. So you're on like a big hang glider and you glide over like the world, and it's really fun because you're just chilling. It's like you're hang gliding, but you're also in front of this big screen. It's almost like a giant IMAX type screen, and they spray smells at you. And that was my favorite part. So you'd fly over Africa and they'd like spray like the smell of grass, and you're like, oh shit, it smells like grass. And you'd fly over a beach and it's like a tropical scent. I love that. We rode it twice. I could have, if they would have put up a hammock there, I would have just chilled there all day and went to sleep. I would have bought the Disney exclusive hang gliding hammock package, and I would have been perfectly fine with it. It was great. And we ate food and all that good stuff. And I think that's all I got for Disneyland. Let's see. What else do I want to talk about? Oh my God, the way back. I was going to save this story for Cox and Crendor, but I've already told it on the stream, and I may as well just tell it here. So, and I'll probably tell it on Cox and Crendor anyway, just to hear Jesse's reaction, but this is great. So, the morning we're leaving, we're like, all right, we got to be at LAX. Our flight's like, what was it, 10:40? So we're like, we'll leave for the airport at like 8, right? Like, figure it'll take like 40 minutes to get there, and then you got like 2 hours or whatever to just chill or get through security or whatever you want to do. So we get there, or we get to the car, we get the Lyft, because my Uber was being dumb. I don't know what they did with new Uber, right? But they're like, hey, new Uber. And I try to get an Uber, and it's just like, verify your payment information. And I try to do it, and it's just like, blah, and it like, I don't know, it just dies, and then it goes back to the main screen. I'm like, what the shit is wrong with you, Uber? So I was like, screw it, I'll do Lyft. So I got a Lyft and get a driver, and the guy, he takes forever to like pick us up. I'm like, come on, man. He's like, oh, okay, I'm over here. So we finally get to him. And I don't know if you know Wow Hobbs. I take it a lot of you do, since this is my YouTube thing and I've done stuff with Wow Hobbs. But this guy, imagine Wow Hobbs, but like instead of from Canada, he's from like the New York area. Kind of like a New Yorker Wow Hobbs. That was this guy to a T. And it was so great. He talked, he's like, hey guys, how's it going? Hobbs here. But he was just like, hey guys, my name's Chris and I'll be your driver. And we were like, all right. Chris seemed like a good guy. He's a great guy, but he had some strong opinions. So we're driving and he's like, so where are you going? And we're like, the airport. And he's like, oh, what time's your flight? And we're like 10:40. And he's like, oh no. And we're like, what? And he's like, you don't know about LA traffic, you know, it's gonna take like an hour and a half just to get to the airport. And we're just like, what? And he's like, yeah, an hour and a half to get to the airport. So you know what? I know my way around this city. I'm gonna get you there in an hour. So we're like, great. Do it, whatever. And he's like, look at the GPS. The GPS says an hour and a half. By the time we get there, it's not going to say that. And I was like, I trust you, man. Just get us there. So then we started to learn about Chris. Chris was a mortician or scientist? I think it was a mortician or scientist. He did that for 15 years. He made great money. And then I guess his wife died. And after his wife died, he wanted to get away from everything, like his job, his everything around him. And he moved to LA, but he loves hockey. So he goes back and forth between LA and Connecticut, like teaching hockey. And he has a hockey league here and there. And he lifts, not like I lift, bro, but like Lyft driving. And I was like, oh, that's cool, dude. Like, you're just, changing your life, doing some stuff you want to do. And then he started just ranting about LA. And it made me think he doesn't like LA. I think he just likes how hot and warm it is there. But he was just like, some of the people I get here, it's, God, I can't stand them. Just especially Skylers. And I was like, Skyler, did you get someone? He's like, let me tell you about Skyler. Skyler's the guy. He's only from California. I hadn't heard of Skyler at all when I lived on the East Coast. But here, Skylers are everywhere. Oh, my name's Skyler. I'm going to put my surfboard on your Lyft car. Mind if I attach it, bro? And he started getting really upset about Skylers. But I was loving it. I was like, this is great. He was actually getting to the airport faster than the GPS time said. He must have known some back roads. And he kept being like, look at the highways. You see that's all red? We're going to go around that red. And I was like, I trust you, dude. And he's like, good. You know who wouldn't trust me? Skyler. I get people like Skyler all the time. I get in my car and I'm like, hey, I could get you there faster. And he's like, no, how about you just stick to the GPS? And I'm like, typical Skylers, dude. I can't. My girlfriend's from LA as well. And you know what? They don't think out here. None of them think. And I was like, we to the airport yet? Or let's see. Nope, we're not there yet. All right. And then he started ranting about how in California they call it the highway. For example, the 105 or the 405 or the 82. Like, that's how they refer to their highways. And he's like, everywhere else, they're just, take the 45 to the 233 up to the 52. You don't put the in front of it, but here they're so conceited. they're calling it, oh, take the 45 to the 53. And I was like, yeah, I bet Skylar invented that. He's like, yeah, I bet Skylar invented that. You're right. So that was quite a Lyft ride. And then he talked about pinball machines. He talked about how his girlfriend bakes cookies. And he talked about how he loves hockey. And I think that was about it. And then we got there, and I was like, man, I gave him a tip. And he was like, you don't got to do that. And I was like, yeah, you deserve it. You got us here fast. And he was like, tell you what, go to my hockey website. And if you ever need a car out here, just contact us on the Facebook. And I was like, all right, man, I'm not going to do that. That's too much work for me, but I appreciated it. Yeah. So that was the Lyft. Then it got better. We go on the airplane. We get to the airport on time. Everything's fine. Get through security. We wait. We get on the plane. I'm like, awesome. And we are sitting next to this older gentleman. And he's got his coat in my seat. And I'm like, hey, I'm sitting next to you. And he's like, oh, yeah. And he moves his coat. We're like, okay. This is all right. He seems, kind of, he wasn't like, no, or grumpy or anything. He's like, yeah, all right. So we sit down, and we're about to take off, and they're doing the standard, like, if we're, welcome to flight 233, blah, blah, Virgin America. If you'd like to fly. And he just turns to me, and he's like, what's up with this broad? Is she high? And I was like, oh no, he's gonna talk to me. Oh no. So let me tell you about Bruce. His name's Bruce. I would know because he talked to me and Toaster Woman on the plane for 2 hours. 2 hours of the 3.5 hour flight. And he's just like, how you doing? My name's Bruce. I was like, nice to meet you. And he's like, I bet that woman up there, she's probably a stripper or something. And I was like, yeah. And he's like, what's a good stripper? What's a stripper name they got, or a club name? You like what do you got? And I was like, I don't know, Diamond Jade. And he's like, Diamond Jade. I love it. I'm Bruce. What's your name? And I was like, please God, no. So he proceeded to tell me about his life. Proceeded to tell us that he has kids. He has a daughter who was bulimic but is not anymore. He has a son who's flipping houses and loves video games. He has a wife that helped him turn his life around, which was an awkward conversation as well. So he's talking about how he has a business, a coffee truck business. And it's like food trucks, but coffee. So coffee trucks. And they'd go around to like various places in California, LA, Hollywood. And whenever they're making a movie or something, they'd go there and be like, hey, have some coffee. And everyone's like, ooh, great. But he started this, I guess, back in the mid to late 80s. So he's had it for a while before the whole like food truck craze. And we're talking about that. I'm like, oh, that's cool. And he's like, because, before that, I was a huge Coke dealer. And I was like, great. So it's a weird scenario and a weird moment when some random person on a plane you've been talking to for 5 minutes was just like, I used to be a huge Coke dealer, best in the west side of LA. And I was just like, oh. And he's like, but turned my life around. My wife, she helped me get out of that. And it's great. I've been clean for over 30 years, and I'm never going back to that. And I was like, that's awesome, dude. And then we talked about just YouTube stuff. He was like, yeah, my son, he likes the video games too. He's got, what's that new one where you shoot stuff? I'm like, Call of Duty. He's like, yeah. He says it's not that great. And I'm like, yeah, I don't think it's gonna be that great. And then he talked about how the Republican Party is great. He needs it for his business to thrive. He talked about just pretty much everything you can imagine a mid-50s ex-Coke dealer would talk about. So that was an interesting conversation. And it reminded me of how much I don't like talking to people on planes. I just like to chill, be alone, but is still made for a good conversation and a good story. Made for a great story because here we are and I'm telling it. Oh yeah, he also had the awkward thing of being like, usually there's like 3 people around talking really loudly on the plane. We don't got any of those on this plane. And he's like, unless it's us. And I was like, and I just started looking around and seeing people looking at us, and I'm like, yep. Yeah, I think it's us, Bruce. I think it's us. I think it's us. So yeah, that was something. Then we got home. Thank God we got a Lyft driver that was like quiet, did his job. He was like, where do you want to go? I'm like, I want to go here. Just take this route. And he's like, all right. Didn't talk. It was great. They really should have an option on like Uber and Lyft where you can check like, I want a driver that doesn't talk to me, or like, I want a driver that talks a lot, and they can pick like, hey, I talk a lot, or like, hey, I don't want to talk. And that would be a great thing because some people don't want to talk, some people want to talk. I don't know. Uber, Lyft, maybe get on that. Yeah. Let's see what else. What else happened in my life since then? The Christmas stuff is going up. So much fun. Christmas. In early November, I think they started putting up Christmas stuff in like the middle of October, the early to middle of October, which is really starting to push it. Like a few weeks before Halloween, and they're starting to put up Christmas trees. It's like, dude, please stop. It's gonna be July, and they're gonna start putting up Christmas stuff at this rate. I don't get it. I mean, I do get it because they want to make money, right? They're just like, hey, it's almost time to spend your money on Christmas gifts, please, because this is when they make all their money. Even Black Friday. I feel like Black Friday is only still around because of like tradition and people being like, Black Friday, gotta go get those deals. But there's so many deals now, and you can just get them at home, and they start just a month before. Like Amazon right now is like early Black Friday deals, and it's like 2 weeks before Black Friday, and there's just deals already. And I'm like, why would I need to go anywhere? You can already get a bunch of stuff, unless you're looking for a specific thing. But shit, dude. I don't know. So yeah, just Black Friday. I know on Cox and Crendor we usually do our typical like Black Friday special. We'll do that again this year. That's also a tradition. And then let's see, Thanksgiving. I love Thanksgiving. That's one of my favorite holidays. You chill out, you eat, you watch football, American football in America. I don't know what everybody else does. I know Canada has Thanksgiving, but it's like a month ago. So that happens. And I don't actually know the difference. I wonder if they celebrate it the same way. If you're Canadian, or if you're somewhere else that has a Thanksgiving, what do you do on it? Do you eat turkey? Because we eat turkey here, and it's like stuffing and all that type of stuff, and then watch American football. Like, what do you do? I'm curious. Post your Thanksgiving traditions and where you're from in the comments below, because I'm curious now. And yeah, so it's been an eventful and fun week and a half since I last made one of these. And yeah, I think that's it. Again, I'm going to be putting these on SoundCloud, soundcloud.com/Crencast, and I kind of just make them whenever I want. I'm still looking into putting it on iTunes, but it's definitely on SoundCloud. So check out the link in below if you want to listen to it on the SoundCloud or follow it over there. Do whatever you want. It's up to you. And yeah. Okay. See you.